Hi guys, welcome to Carl's Corner, not Carl's Corner. Anyway, I know I just did an update, but I wanted to do another video because something happened to me yesterday that I think could be useful information for others. I also do actually have a subsequent mini update. I will be going home tomorrow. Yay! Crisis averted. All the unbelievable medical care has got me back to a point where I can go home. Now that said, I was told to be prepared to come back here because the cause of the thing that got me here, and if you want to know how I got here, watch my previous video. But the reasons that caused that were due to my chemotherapy. And of course, I've still got 2/3 of my chemotherapy to do. So, fingers crossed I won't come back, but you never know, right? Anyway, the one thing I wanted to update you about is it's a method of delivering medication that most people aren't familiar with. Everybody knows about IVs, right? They stick a needle in your arm, they hang a bag on a tree, in goes whatever the medication is. And during the first phase or cycle of my chemotherapy, that's how it had been delivered. Now, the challenge to that, though, is that IVs can actually stay in you for up to a week, as long as they're situated well, you're not experiencing any discomfort, there's no irritation to your skin or anything like that. They can stay in. But with chemotherapy, they can't really be used more than once. The reason for that is because the drugs are so strong that they can only be delivered to a vein one time in the one position. Because if they're used any more than that, the drugs can actually start literally burning away the lining of your vein, which obviously you don't want. So that means IVs a lot, right? So right now, by the way, I'm up to 27 sticks. I may or may not have mentioned that in a previous video. That's all the IVs I've had, all the blood tests I've had and everything. Anyway, the other problem is that as the chemo goes, and I'm at that stage now where my veins are trash. And what I mean by that is for nurses to actually, look at my arm and try and find a vein to even put an IV in, it's become much, much more difficult. And so I still have 14 more chemo treatments. And really, I didn't want to go through that difficulty if I didn't have to. And of course, it's difficult on the nurses as well. So what I had put in place yesterday is I had put in place a PICC line. Now, a PICC, and I took notes, is a peripherally inserted central catheter. What the heck does that mean? Well, let me show you what that means. You can sort of see here, I know it's kind of hard. So about somewhere under here, it's actually entering my arm. After it enters my arm, it travels up my arm, underneath this clavicle, and down towards the heart. Now, obviously, it terminates before the heart. There's a couple of really amazing benefits to it. Obviously, now that it's in place, this can stay in place up to a year if it has to. But now I don't need to be stuck anymore for delivery of treatments. They can use this now for the rest of my chemo protocol. And the other huge benefit is, I talked about vein erosion. You don't get that with this. So let me give you an example. Let's say this is the IV needle, enlarged for illustration purposes. Anyway, let's say it's that. And let's say this is the vein they're putting it in. Now, what I'm showing you here is there's the needle going in, and you can see the idea is that there's not a whole lot of room around the needle. So the point is that there's not a lot of actual volume of blood flowing around the volume as the drugs go in. So the drugs eventually dilute, but they've got to go downstream a bit before they actually really dilute well. With the PICC line, the way they put it in via ultrasound. It's fascinating. I watched this obviously yesterday, and he looks for a vein within my arm, which are much larger, and then he puts it in there. So as you can see here, by the way, this purple, that's the catheter tubing, right? Like, it's not that thick. But the vein he's putting it in, to get, again, for illustration purposes, it's more like this versus the PICC line. So you get the idea that there's a lot more blood there. There's a lot more volume there, that when the drugs are injected, it's almost instantly diluting into the blood. So that means a couple of things. It means, obviously, it's in a bigger vein, so it's flowing kind of faster into my system. But it also, there's no risk to the vein because there's so much room around it, and the drugs are diluting so fast that they don't endanger the vein. So I just wanted to share that with you because it wasn't something I got at first. I asked for it, but they said apparently it would take a while. I found out that's not necessarily true if you kind of insist. And here in the hospital, when they, because I've been on antibiotics, as you know, now I'm off them. The first time I was given the antibiotics, I was mentioning to the young man how many times I've been stuck. And he'd asked me if I was interested in a PICC. And I said I was, but I had been told that it would take a while. He's like, no, I can get you one in a day, or he can order one in a day or two. Now, they did delay that because they thought I may have an infection. And of course, if I did, can't get one if you have an infection. But once I was cleared of any actual infection, that's when I got it put in. Now, how that procedure is done was also quite amazing because the gentleman that came in to do it, been doing it for decades, he actually set up my room as a mini surgery. Everything was totally sanitized, you know, and my arm was situated as such. Like, it really was mini surgery. No anesthetics except a little bit of topical anesthetic on the arm, so that when the needle goes in your arm, it doesn't hurt as much. Because the interesting thing is too, any discomfort or pain you feel is only at the skin level. There's no real pain in your arm, right? Like you do feel a little bit. I felt a little bit in the arm, but that's because kind of it was, as it was going in, it was pushing a little bit against the vein while it was getting situated. So although I couldn't feel the vein, I think I could feel the pressure on the muscles in my arm or something. But it was very non-consequential. Excuse me. And then yeah. So it went in, and then so it's taped. It's secured by this bandaging, as you see. And then the only thing after that is once a week, there's a little gauze in there just to protect where the PICC line's going in. So once a week, a nurse comes, and where I live, I can get home nurse care to come to my home, and they just change that dressing out once a week, and that's it. Stays there. It hurt afterwards. It hurt a little bit because, as he said, you've just had a big needle stuck in your arm. But after that, it hasn't hurt. Like today, it's been completely fine. So there's no ongoing real discomfort. Also, because of how it is and where it's situated, it's very non-obtrusive. To shower, it's very easy to protect. Basically, you know, you make sure you wrap it up very, very securely so that there's absolutely no leaks or what have you. And you get instructions how to do all that. It's kind of specific. But there's all upside and really no downside to it, is my point. So anyway, folks, I just wanted to share that with you. Again, it's more information you have now, just for general knowledge, or you can share it with others, or for those of you that, you know, may be in a position where you might want it, you know, you can have it, because also it's not just for chemotherapy. It's for any kind of treatments where you're going to have, you know, repetitive injected medication or treatments. Okay? Anyway, thanks again for watching all my videos. I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe, but I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching my videos have subscribed. Hit the like if you like. Okay? Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.